Welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm Henry Acosta, and with us today is Dr. Alina Zeldovich and Shanel Sharma. They are both experienced ophthalmologists. Today, we're here to talk about and help spread awareness on how to protect children's eyes because they are in danger because of UV rays caused by the sun. They have their own line of sunglasses called Beamers, and it has this new lens called OptoShield technology. As children head back to school this week, parents are going to be urged to take action in order to protect their children's eyes. So, hi, Dr. Alina and Shanel. Glad to have you with us today on the show. Can you give us a quick introduction about who you guys are and what you do?
We are Dr. Alina Zeldovich and Dr. Shanel Sharma. We're ophthalmologists. That is, we're medically trained doctors who have specialized to become eye physicians and eye surgeons. And last year we founded Beamer Sunglasses.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the product that you guys are promoting?
Absolutely. We decided to create Beamers because it provides maximum UV protection and incorporates OptoShield technology. OptoShield technology is a combination of the frame and the lens design, which includes being wraparound, being UV 400 lenses, and it satisfies Category 3 of the Australian standards. They're polarized lenses and they're back surface coated, which means it stops reflected light from entering the eye.
Oh, yeah, I was about to ask, why did you guys make this product?
Because actually, if you would know that we're both eye surgeons, and being eye surgeons, we don't normally get involved in making glasses. Mm-hmm. Actually, in our clinical lives, we treat and see patients with eye diseases. So we're both medically trained, and we see the diseases that are caused by UV damage that could have been prevented. We both run busy practices here in Sydney and have attended and spoken at many national and international conferences. Internationally, this topic of UV damage and the prevention of eye diseases caused by UV has become a major topic, just like the awareness about melanoma is a major topic in Australia. The evidence is irrefutable that UV damages the eyes, and in particular, the kids' eyes are more susceptible to damage when they have the least protective mechanisms that have developed. Mm-hmm. I was involved and an investigator in the first study that used UV fluorescence camera, UV fluorescence photography, to look at UV damage in the eyes of young school children, and we did that study here in Sydney. So it's a very Australian and very relevant study to Australia. The study was published in the American Journal of Ophthalmology, and despite being an Australian paper, we published it in the American Journal because it's a major, prestigious international journal. It shows that 30% of children as young as 9 had already had photographic evidence using UV fluorescence photography of UV damage. By the time we looked at the children aged 12 to 15, 80% had UV damage on their eye using fluorescence photography. That's 4 out of 5 children. And 1 out of 3 already had eye diseases like a pterygium or a pinguecule. If you think of that, that's actually very young. Before they reach 16, 1 in 3 children already have eye diseases. However, the blinding forms such as cataract don't occur till later on in life. So there's quite a large lag time. Just like with melanoma, we talk about the sun damage and the UV damage that occurs in childhood and the disease occurring later in life. It's similar in UV damage to the eye. UV damage causes real eye diseases that could have been prevented. These include skin cancers around the eyelids and eyelid margins, because you can't put sunscreen around your eyelids and eyelid margins, but you could protect this area with wearing sunglasses. Also pterygium and pinguecule, which are growths on the surface of the eyes, and cataracts, which we all know is still one of the commonest causes of blindness all over the world, as well as in Australia. These all require surgical treatment. We wanted to protect our children, and we looked around for sunglasses with all the protective features we considered essential. Unfortunately, we were unable to find a product to reassure us that our children would be maximally protected if we put them in there. That's why we created Beamers, with its OptoShield technology and the combination of the frame and lens design.
So you guys are ophthalmologists, and you're into surgery. What inspired you to getting into more into the hardware aspect of with regards to protecting the eyes?
So basically, we wanted to protect our children and protect
mothers as well as surgeons.
And we wanted to protect. I'm a pediatric eye surgeon, and every day I see patients that come in and they say, "What can I do to protect my child?" Over this recent summer, I have seen quite a lot of children come in with UV damage to their eyes. They come in with inflamed eyes, red, sore, painful, watering eyes, and their parents have said to me that they've been told that they have conjunctivitis, and then I examine the eye and they haven't got conjunctivitis. Instead, what they've got is inflamed eyes, convexually and pterygium, because of the UV damage, and they've been playing outdoors, the long days, and they're not protecting their eyes. And when you talk to the parents, they all say that their children have a sun hat on and they have sunscreen on, and they didn't realise that they should have been protecting their child's eyes as well.
What are the long-term consequences, let's say, if you don't protect your eyes?
These are the long-term consequences of getting cancers around the eyes and eyelids that need to be cut off. You can get cataract, which is blinding. You can get pterygiums and pingueculae, which also pterygiums can be blinding if they grow over the centre of the eye, and they change the shape of the eye, and the treatment for them is to cut them off, or so surgery, so an intervention which is invasive. And a lot of these conditions need then some treatment which we could have prevented if we simply protected our children and ourselves when they were outside, like we do with their skin and with their hats, using hats.
And other than wearing sunglasses with the OptoShield technology, what are the other ways that we can keep our eyes healthy?
There are lots of ways we can keep our eyes healthy, such as eating green leafy vegetables, nuts, and deep-sea oily fish to protect from macular degeneration. We could protect our eyes from diabetic eye diseases by monitoring ourselves for diabetes and maintaining good sugar control if we got diabetes. But for the general public and for every day, protecting our eyes from UV damage would lead to major prevention of a number of eye diseases that people are currently unaware of. Most people understand that if you've got diabetes or high blood pressure, you need to be protected and monitored by eye doctors or optometrists. But people don't understand that their eyes need to be protected from UV damage.
In fact, just last week, the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Ophthalmologists, RANZCO, who are our professional body and the leaders in collaborative eye care, have put out a statement warning people about the ocular UV damage present and the importance of wearing sunglasses. And a similar statement was put out by the World Pediatric and Strabismus Society, stating that children should not be outdoors without UV eye protection. So what we're currently trying to do is to bring this message into all schools. And some schools in New South Wales have made sunglasses a part of the school uniform, just like hats, as a result of what we have seen as professionals during the summer. So in fact, traditionally, sunglasses are worn as a fashion accessory, and unfortunately, they've been marketed and manufactured as such. So what we are trying to do is to explain to our colleagues, teachers, parents, that sunglasses are an integral part of UV protection and equally important as wearing a hat and sunblock.
What are the times that you recommend that everyone wears sunglasses?
So when you think about how UV light damages the eye, we think firstly about what we've classically been told, that in the middle of the day we get damage from the sun to our skin. But when you think about the UV damage to the eye, it doesn't just occur from the direct overhead sunlight. It occurs from the light coming into the eye as the sun is rising and the sun is setting. It occurs from the overhead direct light from when the sun is higher in the sky, and it occurs from reflected light off surfaces. And we know that such activities like skiing and being on water or near water has maximum reflection. But even when your child is walking to school, you've got concrete that's causing a lot of reflection. When your child is playing sport outside or in their school playground. So wherever we are, between sunrise and sunset, we are getting UV light into our eyes. And the ideal scenario, I understand that may not be very practical in the beginning, but the ideal scenario is that all children are protected and adults between sunrise and sunset 365 days a year. People don't forget to put their sunblock on in the middle of winter because we know that UV light scatters in the clouds even more than it does on some bright sunny days. So we need to be protecting our children and ourselves all the time where possible.
What's the biggest misconception that you usually get with regards to the UV rays and with regards to the sunglasses that you guys made?
What the biggest misconception is and what drives us nuts is when we go outdoors, and once you're aware of this, it will drive you nuts also. You see adults wearing their sunglasses and you look down and their kids have nothing. So you see small kids in strollers with the strollers parked facing the sun, while the adults have their sunglasses and they're sitting in the shade. So when you look around, you see that at the beach, in the park, playing sport on the water, the picture is always the same. So what we want people to consider is that if you have your sunglasses on, please remember that kids' eyes are much more susceptible to UV damage than adults' eyes. And please consider preventing your kids from getting eye damage. Just like you wouldn't let your kids go outdoors to play without sunscreen and a hat, the eyes are equally important. And that wearing glasses prevents blinding eye diseases. So the misconception about sunglasses in general is, as I said before, that sunglasses are traditionally a fashion accessory and they've been marketed as such. So they've been almost like a toy. You'll go to the shops and the kid will want a particular brand because they've seen a particular cartoon. They'll pop them on their face. They'll say, how do I look? And that's when the parent will buy the sunglasses. So we're trying to re-educate people that sunglasses are important for prevention of eye disease. And that, in fact, not all sunglasses are the same in their protective aspects. We've already talked about what OptoShield technology incorporates, and of course, they all satisfy Category 3. Australia is one of the only countries that has standards for sunglasses. However, in our opinion, we need to go far beyond those standards. And that's what RANZCO and what we as professionals believe. When I say going above the standards, the current standards measure only what passes through the lens. And as Dr. Sharma has explained, UV light comes in reflected and direct form. And we need to also block the reflected light as well as the direct form.
For our last question, for anyone interested in knowing more about OptoShield and maybe talking to you guys about their eyes, how can they reach you guys?
So we have a website, www.beamers.com.au, where we're posting regular blogs on UV protection and eye health, as well as information regarding our products.
Awesome. Well, that's all our questions for today. Thank you for being on the show. It was a pleasure talking to you guys.
Thank you very much, Henry. And if any of the doctors would like to contact us, they can contact us through our professional bodies as well, through our offices. Just an aside to you.
And that was Dr. Alina Zeldovich and Shanel Sharma. And we just talked about the dangers of the sun and how there are a lot of factors that affect not only our eyes, but our children's eyes. If you want to get your own Beamer Sunnies, you can go on sunlove.myshopify.com, sunluv.myshopify.com. And you can get in touch with them on beamers.com.au. I'm Henry Acosta, and you've been listening to Health Professional Radio. If you want to listen to more health-related topics, go on www.hpr.fm, and you can also find us on SoundCloud and iTunes.